or Republican or from the Supreme Court that endorse same-sex marriages, you're nothing.
On February 5th, 2025, what was supposed to be a peaceful gathering of faith, a moment for believers to unite and reflect on their spiritual journey, turned into one of the most talked-about events in modern church history. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as attendees waited to hear the word of God, feeling inspired by the promise of connection and spiritual growth. Among the speakers were two of America's most well-known pastors, Pastor Gino Jennings, known for his bold and unfiltered preaching style, and Pastor Keion Handerson, a figure admired for his innovative approach to ministry and outreach. A surprising confrontation. The event began calmly with sermons, music, and fellowship flowing as expected. But soon, the tension shifted. Pastor Jennings, recognized for his straightforwardness and his emphasis on the purity of ministry, took a direct and unexpected approach. Instead of easing into his message, he addressed Pastor Handerson directly. The words he chose carried weight, not in anger, but in firm conviction. He raised questions about the direction of Handerson's ministry, urging the audience to consider whether the focus was more on personal success than on spiritual growth. Different views on ministry. Pastor Jennings spoke of his belief that ministry should be rooted in service, sacrifice, and humility. Wealth, he explained, should not be the measure of one's devotion or success. As he addressed the crowd, he painted a picture of the church as a place of spiritual nourishment, not performance or spectacle. His voice was steady, conveying concern rather than attack, and the audience grew quiet, absorbing his perspective. The tension in the room was palpable, not hostility, but the curiosity and awe that come when two respected figures present sharply different worldviews. Handerson's response. For a few moments, Handerson remained silent, choosing his words carefully. When he finally spoke, his tone was calm yet assertive. He emphasized that success and faith need not be mutually exclusive. His ministry, he explained, sought to reach as many people as possible, and if that meant embracing modern tools, outreach programs, or resources that were sometimes associated with financial gain, then it was all in service of a larger mission. He asked the audience to see his perspective, that prosperity and faith could coexist without undermining spiritual integrity. A dialogue of principles. The exchange between the two pastors unfolded like a thoughtful debate rather than a confrontation. Jennings emphasized the importance of sincerity, humility, and the spiritual responsibilities of leadership. Handerson countered with a perspective shaped by a changing world, suggesting that outreach and accessibility sometimes required innovative approaches and financial resources. Both presented compelling arguments, leaving the audience reflecting on the evolving role of church leadership and the balance between tradition and modern engagement. Addressing criticism. Jennings raised specific points regarding transparency and accountability in ministry. He reminded the audience that leadership comes with ethical obligations to ensure that resources are used appropriately, not as a means of personal enrichment. Handerson acknowledged the concerns but clarified that his initiatives were designed to benefit communities and expand access to spiritual guidance. He encouraged the audience to look at the impact of his work, the lives touched, the hope restored, and the outreach programs created as evidence of intention rather than exploitation. The audience reacts. Throughout this exchange, the audience was deeply engaged. Some nodded in agreement with Jennings, appreciating the reminder of faith's roots in service and humility. Others felt inspired by Handerson's vision, seeing in it a message that faith could evolve to meet the needs of a diverse and modern society. The event became a space for reflection, discussion, and questioning, prompting attendees to examine their own understanding of ministry, leadership, and spiritual integrity. Finding common ground. Even in the midst of differing opinions, there were moments of unity. Both pastors agreed on the central tenets of faith, that the church exists to uplift, to guide, and to serve. The discussion shifted from confrontation to conversation, highlighting that disagreements do not have to undermine respect or purpose. They shared a common goal: the spiritual growth and well-being of their communities. What began as a dramatic exchange evolved into a broader dialogue about accountability, service, and the evolving landscape of church leadership. Lessons in leadership. The confrontation offered valuable lessons for everyone present. It emphasized that leadership is not about image or wealth, but about authenticity, integrity, and the courage to make difficult decisions. Both Jennings and Henderson demonstrated, in different ways, the importance of standing by one's principles while being open to dialogue. The event reminded attendees that faith communities are built not just on agreement, but on the willingness to engage in honest, respectful discussions about priorities, values, and practices. Reflection and dialogue. By the end of the event, what had started as a tense moment transformed into an opportunity for reflection. Attendees left with more than just sermons. They carried with them insights into the complexities of ministry and the challenges of balancing tradition with innovation. Conversations sparked in the audience and online, with people discussing what it truly means to serve faithfully in a world that is constantly evolving. The event became an example of how spiritual communities can engage with differing perspectives while maintaining mutual respect and shared goals. The power of perspective. The exchange between Pastor Jennings and Pastor Henderson illustrated the importance of perspective. Jennings's focus on humility, selflessness, and dedication to the core message of faith contrasted with Henderson's emphasis on innovation, outreach, and maximizing resources for greater impact. Neither perspective was inherently wrong. Both provided insights into different paths for serving communities. For believers, the lesson was clear. Discernment, critical thinking, and reflection are essential components of a faithful spiritual life. A historic moment. Looking back, the February 5th gathering will be remembered as a turning point, a moment when two influential voices in American ministry demonstrated the complexity of faith leadership in the modern era. It was a reminder that the church is not static. It evolves with the times, challenges, and opportunities it faces. The event encouraged believers to engage thoughtfully with leaders, to ask questions, and to consider how faith can be expressed meaningfully in a world that is always changing. Moving forward. As attendees left, the conversations continued. The event sparked discussions about transparency, accountability, and the ways in which modern ministries can balance spiritual guidance with practical realities. Both pastors' messages remained present in the minds of those who witnessed the exchange, offering inspiration and food for thought. The day's events showed that even in moments of tension, faith communities have the potential to grow stronger through dialogue, reflection, and shared commitment to higher principles. Conclusion. The February 5th gathering was more than an event. It was a reflection of the dynamic nature of faith leadership today. Pastor Jennings and Pastor Henderson, through their honest and passionate exchange, highlighted the challenges and opportunities of ministry in the modern age. While they approached faith and leadership from different angles, both ultimately reminded the audience of the core purpose of any spiritual community: to serve, uplift, and guide people toward hope, purpose, and connection with God. In a world of varying perspectives, the gathering became a symbol of respectful discourse, a lesson in integrity, and a testament to the power of faith when combined with thoughtful reflection and openness to